So just want to welcome everybody. Thanks for joining in today. And it's just another opportunity to get together to practice mindful meditation, a little bit of mindful reflection. We'll do the usual, just have a brief practice, talk a little bit about something, a topic, and then do a longer practice. And again, just grateful that you're here. So if you're new to the practice, we'll give some guidance here, and starting with, and even if you're not new to the practice, even if you've been doing this a long time, a good thing to remember when we're sitting down to begin meditating is to really feel the presence of arriving here, the intention to come here at this time to do this investigation of the mind and the body is a really special thing. And so taking the time to settle in, really feeling the support of whatever our body is resting on, whether it's the floor, the couch, a chair. So just really feeling the support of that, grounding into that support. And from that grounding, feeling the uprightness of the spine, inviting any amount of lengthening of the spine, which brings alertness to the mind, but also the sense of relaxation. So we're not tight, we're fully present, we're alert, but we're also relaxed. And if you're comfortable closing the eyes, if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just having a soft gaze, not looking around. This is our chance to come inward and let go of everything that it took to arrive here, the logging in, the making the technology work, the checking in. Now it's time to really come and do our inner work. So from this place of groundedness and alertness, coming in, we'll let the bell transition us. So the fading of the sound of the bell, you take the awareness away from that and coming inwards and just checking in. How is it right now, this mind? Is the mind still buzzing with the activity of arriving, or is it falling asleep now that it's relatively quiet? How's the mind? We don't judge it, we just notice how it is. And how's the body? Is the body agitated? Is it relaxed? Is it low energy, high energy? Maybe if there's pain or sensation, we can notice that too. And we're just noticing what we're aware of right here, right now. And letting go of that, just brief check in with the mind and the body, and maybe taking a moment to just reflect on our intention in even being here right now. So what's the intention that brought you to want to take this time to be here? This meditation practice, this mindfulness practice. Maybe you feel like you want to get something, learn something. Maybe you want to get rid of something. You want to leave everything else behind. Whatever it is, just noticing what your intention is. And if you don't have one, maybe it's just curiosity, you can notice that too. So anyway, just check in with yourself. Why am I here? And if nothing else, knowing that this is a gift that we can give ourselves. Just taking the time to be here in a relatively quiet way. It's something that we don't normally give ourselves in this busy world that we live in. Just set the intention to get to know ourselves better. This mind, this body. And one way we can do that is through awareness of the body itself. We spend most of our day in thinking, planning, remembering, analyzing, the mind chattering away. We can let go of some of that right here, right now, as a gift to ourselves, and coming into awareness of the body. And one good way to do that is through just doing a brief body scan, just checking in with how is it right now in this body? What do we notice about how the body is? So we can start with awareness of the feet, the sensation of the feet in contact with the ground, or not in contact with the ground. How are the feet? How do they feel? Maybe there's no sensation in the feet, and we can notice that as well. And from the feet, we can work our way up to the ankles, bringing the awareness to the shins and calves, and knees, noticing if there's tension there, or if there's any sensation in the knees. Moving up into the thighs, maybe feeling the pressure against the body's support. Moving up further into the hips, noticing if the hips are relaxed or if there's any tension there. Maybe if there's pressure against the support. Moving from the hips up into the lower back, noticing if there's any sensation there. And not making a story out of any of these sensations, just noticing how it is. If there's a sensation, the lower back, to the middle of the back, upper back and the shoulders, how is it there? You can notice if there's any sensation in the upper back and the shoulders. And maybe it's changing even as we're watching. And then moving the awareness down the arms, the upper arm, lower arm, down into the hands and the fingers. You can notice maybe if the right and the left feel the same, if they feel different. We don't judge it, we just notice. It's like this. And then moving back up from the hands and fingers, up through the arms again, to the shoulders. Noticing if they feel the same as before or maybe a little different. And from there up into the neck, the back of the head. Is there any tension in the neck, the back of the head? Any sensation? And moving up into the top of the head, down at the forehead. How is it there? Down into the eyes, noticing if we're holding any tension in the eyes. Down into the cheeks and jaw. How is it there? Is there tension or relaxation? Into the mouth, the tongue. Is the tongue relaxed or is it holding tension? And from there back down the throat. Is there relaxation or is there tension in the throat? Down into the upper chest, the heart. Is the chest open or is it collapsed? Not judging, just noticing. And then down into the middle of the chest, down into the lower abdomen, the belly. Maybe we can notice the rise and fall with the breath. Noticing any sensation in the belly. And rising and the falling with the breath. Maybe we can follow the breath up from the belly, up through the chest to the nose and back down again. Maybe we feel the sensation of the breath. And maybe we don't even feel that sensation, but we can notice the receiving of the body, receiving energy as we're breathing in, and letting go as we're breathing out. So resting the awareness of the body breathing, feeling the body receiving on the inhalation, letting go on the exhalation. And noticing how that feels. The mind watching the breath is like this. This body breathing is like this. How is it? Does it feel relaxed, or is there some tension? We don't judge it, we just notice it. The body breathing is like this. Mind observing the body breathing is like this. Is it interested? Is it bored? Is it relaxed? Is it wandered off thinking? This mind, this body are like this right now. In this moment, the mind is like this. The body is like this. Can we just be with it? With relaxation and interest, moment to moment. So the ringing of the bell invites us to bring the awareness back to the surface. Maybe just reflecting a little bit on what you might have observed during that meditation, about the state of the mind, the body, maybe how it was different between when you started and how it is now. I'm not judging, just noticing. And then bring the awareness back to being here together, opening the eyes and being present here in this way. So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about, kind of getting back to basics, why we meditate. Even that first question that I posed during that meditation about, why are you here? What was your intention in being here? It's a good thing to ask us every once in a while. Why are we doing this? And maybe everybody has a different reason for it. So, and I thought I'd share that. Part of the reason that I'm sharing this is I was reading something that from a book. It's book time again. So a book by Richard Shankman called The Art and Skill of Buddhist Meditation. It's a really good introductory book to the style of meditation that Nancy and I tend to teach in these sessions. So Richard Shankman, Art and Skill of Buddhist Meditation, New Harbinger Press.
I'll look it up and try to put the link in the chat.
Okay, yeah.
Say the name one more time, Jenny.
So it's The Art and Skill of Buddhist Meditation,
okay,
by Richard Shankman. And again, this is what Nancy and I are teaching in these sessions, really. And I love the introduction he has, why meditate? So I have to go take my glasses off to read this, sorry. You may be drawn to meditation for many reasons. You may be looking for a way to manage your stress and feel more peaceful and calm. Perhaps you want to quiet your mind, which is scattered all over the place, to stop obsessing and learn to relax. Or maybe you're dealing with chronic pain or illness or any other challenging situation that's hard to endure, and you're looking for tools to help. Sometimes we don't know exactly what we're looking for, but we know we are suffering or struggling in some way and have heard that meditation might help. All of these benefits are available to us. Peace and joy may seem distant, but they're actually not so far away. They're within each of us, but we must turn our attention inward and come to know ourselves. With practice, your mind will become trained and a natural sense of calm and contentment will follow. The ultimate goal of Buddhist meditation and teachings is to guide us towards a non-reactive equanimity and inner peace in the midst of all aspects of our lives. And I think this is a really important point. You know, it's not just about a 45-minute meditation session once a week. We're doing this so we can take this into our daily lives. That's where the real test is in our mindfulness practice. Beyond the importance and benefits of fostering valuable skills of stress reduction, pain management, and relaxation, on a more fundamental level, Buddhist teachings are asking us to make a shift in how and where we look for happiness, with far-reaching and profound consequences for our well-being. Buddhist meditation is a mosaic of wise and skillful means for cultivating wholesome qualities of our hearts and minds, enabling us to live and act in ways that create more happiness and less suffering for others and for ourselves. We can learn to respond skillfully to any situation with wisdom rather than reactivity. As we move about our daily lives with increasing open-heartedness and calm, we can meet our difficulties and learn to work with them. So I don't know about you, but I find that really inspiring and a little daunting. Like, how could that possibly be that, you know, sitting in meditation is going to help me achieve all that? And by learning what meditation is one of many tools the Buddha taught for how to be aware of what our minds are doing and how we're creating stress in our lives. You know, life is stressful, but we also add stress to our lives. And through observing the mind and the body through meditation, we're training the mind to relate to our experience in a different way than our normal way of what Western civilization tells us to do, which is think our way out of things, plan, strategize, figure out how to control, all of which are helpful in some circumstances, but don't always work. And sometimes we need to step back from all that doing and come to a place of more calm and more ease and more clarity to really know what to do. And sometimes that knowing isn't from analytical thinking, it's from actually like an intuitive awareness that comes from a calm wisdom. And all of this can come out of this mind training that we do in meditation and taking the mindfulness into our daily lives. So for me, that's the purpose of the practice. And whatever your intention is in being here, you know, he kind of covered the gamut of that. Is it just for calm? You know, you're just trying to take a break? Well, maybe then meditation can help you in that. As long as you don't let it be another source of frustration, like, why can't I make my mind be calm? You know, then you're just creating more stress. So we do this with an attitude. We bring an attitude of curiosity and just wanting to know rather than trying to force anything. The more we try to force, the less likely we're going to be able to be calm and relaxed. And through this practice, it's a way of investigating the mind and how we're relating to experience and what leads to stress and what leads away from stress. So that's what we're doing moment to moment in meditation. And then again, the idea is to take it into our daily life. And this calm helps to bring wisdom because we can see things more clearly. And the more clearly we can see what's actually going on, the calmer we can actually be because we see what really is going on rather than the story that we're usually making up about what's going on, a lot of times making things worse than they actually are by adding layers onto it that aren't necessarily even true. So this is what the process that we want to see, what's our mind adding that's creating stress. And then we just naturally can let go of that. And as I've said before, I feel like I'm always saying the same thing every session, you know, but it's really worth repeating, you know, this intention that we bring to this, to allow ourselves to be here and do this practice for our benefit and for the benefit of others. So with all that being said, let's transition back into practicing actually in meditation, because the Buddha was teaching nothing. It's not about believing anything. It's about directly experiencing this with your mind, your body, right here, right now, moment to moment. You can keep learning. And so that's why we do the practice. So let's practice. Reestablishing your seat, feeling the groundedness on your support, the uprightness, inviting uprightness of the spine, the relaxation, closing the eyes if you're comfortable, or just having a soft gaze, and coming back into meditation. We'll let the bell invite us. So once again, the bell transition us from talking ideas, concepts into an actual practice. So just coming in as we did in that first meditation, just noticing how it is right now in this mind, in this body. How is it right in this moment? And then letting that go and just bringing to mind, excuse me, bringing to mind our intention in this meditation practice. And you may have one of your own, but I would suggest that just setting the intention to pay attention to a chosen meditation object. So maybe you have one that you work with routinely. If not, you can just follow my guidance on using the breath as the meditation object. So setting the intention to set the mind's attention on this object, just observing moment to moment this experience, given the object as something for the mind to rest on, not be obsessed with, just be curious about, moment to moment, knowing full well the mind is going to go off on its own and do something else, and then we can notice that too, moment to moment. So setting the intention to pay attention to our meditation object and observing what happens. So in the absence of any other meditation object, suggesting the breath, just simply notice when you're breathing in that you're breathing in. Notice when you're breathing out, you're breathing out. Just a simple act of observing, not a doing or receiving the breath. Noticing breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. That's just so simple. If you don't feel the sensation of the breath, you can just feel the receiving on the in-breath, receiving of energy, and the letting go on the exhalation. Setting the intention to stay with this process of breathing. Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. Can we stay interested? If the mind wanders off, just noticing where it goes, what the effect is on the mind and the body, and then coming back to breathing in, breathing out. checking in to notice what the mind is paying attention to. Is it still with your meditation object, or is it wandered off? We just notice where it's paying attention to. Notice if that's causing stress in the body or the mind. And then resetting our intention to pay attention to the meditation object, the breath, or whatever your object is. Can we stay interested, moment to moment, observing, receiving the in-breath, letting go of the out-breath, and noticing the effect on the mind and the body. Noticing if we're still with our meditation object, and if so, what the effect is on the mind and body. Or if the mind's wandered off into thinking, planning, daydreaming, sleeping, whatever it is, noticing what it was doing and how that feels in the mind and the body, if it causes stress or not. And then resetting the intention to just be present with the meditation object, whatever it is, or the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing the mind is still paying attention, or if it's wandered off thinking, planning, what the effect is. Or maybe the mind's going to sleep in this relatively quiet, starting to get foggy. We can notice that effect too, that too much calming can actually make us drowsy. Just noticing the effect, and then noticing maybe if we need to change our focus in order to stay more attentive. So if we're sleepy, we can pay closer attention or count breaths to give the mind something to do. So paying closer attention would be noticing the breathing in and then the pause, and then the breathing out and then the pause. We're counting breaths 1 to 10. Or if you're going off into thinking, planning, and there's a lot of energy to it, Again, counting breaths might be helpful. It will give your thinking mind something to do. It's relatively harmless rather than going off into the past or the future. So resetting the intention to pay attention to the object in a way that brings curiosity and interest, whatever way you can invite interest, moment to moment, this experience with the meditation object. Noticing what the mind is paying attention to, noticing the effect, and whatever it's doing, can we just be with whatever is happening? If the mind's lost in thought, we can notice, oh, thinking is like this. Or maybe we're remembering something that's stressful, and we can notice, oh, memory is like this. If we're just watching experience go by calmly, moment to moment, observing is like this. Or if we're drowsy, drowsiness is like this. And then resetting the intention to train the mind to actually be interested, to pay attention to our meditation object, moment to moment. Can we stay interested and curious to see what the mind's paying attention to, how it affects the mind and the body? Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. Are we paying attention to what's happening in this moment? Is the mind present with the experience, whatever it is? Can we notice what the mind's paying attention to and what the effect is? And even if we're in a state of agitation, somewhere buried in the agitation, there's still a little bit of calm. Can we notice where the calm is in this moment? Maybe it's in the space between two thoughts, the space between two breaths. Or maybe if you've really been staying with the breath, that the whole experience of breathing is calming. Just noticing where in this mind, this body, there's any amount of calm. And in that moment of calm, if there's clarity of attention, we notice even this subtle thing of calm. And learning to appreciate that, to cultivate it. Contentment with however it is right here, right now. In this moment, it's like this. So the bell invites us to bring the awareness back gently to the surface. Maybe even before closing or before opening the eyes, you can just check in what you might have noticed during that sit. Habits in the mind, what led to stress, what led to ease, what led to sleepiness or anxiety, whatever. And could you be with it? And then just coming back to awareness of being here together again. So whatever your experience was during that meditation, just hoping that there was something useful in the instructions, having this reminder to we just have to keep doing this over and over again to train the mind to be interested in what's actually happening here right now, rather than a story that we make up about our experience or living in a fantasy stories or, whatever. I mean, planning the future, which is a story in itself, that the future is going to go like this. We're living in the past, the story of the past. So training to be here, and this training to be here allows us to ultimately feel more. This increased presence can make us feel more contentment, more clarity, less pushed around by life, but we have to practice, because pretty much everything in our culture tells us to do something different, which is be crazy and do 30 million things at one time. So this is a radical practice, but hopefully you find some benefit in something that we share here every week. So thank you for being here, and I appreciate you being here, and we'll be back again next week.